Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 81. So it's Christmas Eve, starting to be about that time. Food, friends, family, drinks if that's your thing, whatever else might be your thing. And it's one of the few times the year where most people get together with their whole family, and it's, a happy time of year for most of us, right? But for some people, it's not so happy. And to those people, if any of you are those people listening to this podcast and you need to talk, you can always reach out to me at my email, because I know there's a lot of people out there that get down this time of year, and I'm not going to wax poetic or anything like that or get all philosophical on anybody, but there's help out there and there's people that are listening. So if you're having a rough time right now and you need to reach out to somebody, I'll have my email on me all night while I'm with my family, because remember, all of you are my family too. So you can reach out to me at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. And if, you're having a rough time of it and, you need somebody to talk to, or you're lonely, whatever it may be, shoot me an email and I'll respond to whoever's out there if people are feeling down, because I know this time of year it could be rough on people. Like, it's sad, it's hard, people lose family members, people have lost jobs, whatever it may be, and they see everybody else being happy during the holidays, and then for them it's a whole different ball game. And obviously, if you're really down in the dumps and you're thinking about hurting yourself, call the suicide hotline. Please reach out to a professional, because there's an epidemic of suicide in this country and basically around the world, and it's really unspoken. Nobody talks about it, and I think that it's proper for me to use my monologue here to let people know that if that's the case, that there are people out there that are listening. You're not alone, right? Especially anyone listening to this podcast, anyone that's supported me throughout this journey as I've built this. I'm definitely 100% here if anyone needs to talk. And like I said, I'm not saying I have any advice, and I'll just listen, even whatever it may be. But reach out to somebody if you're down. Especially, please, if you're thinking about hurting yourself, please reach out to a professional. And there's people there that care. All right, so the article we're going to talk about today is from Dylan Howard. He's one of the co-authors of Jeffrey Epstein, Dead Men Tell No Tales, and he has an interview with Steve Hoffenberg. And for those of you who know about Jeffrey Epstein, all of you listening to the program, Hoffenberg was his main guy. They were best friends, business partners, the whole thing. And Hoffenberg went down for a Ponzi scheme, and Epstein ended up skating free again. So let's jump right into the article. That way I don't take too much of your time up. You can get there and stuff your faces, watch It's a Wonderful Life, whatever it may be. So the headline: Epstein admitted to me he was a spy. Ex-business partner of sex criminal claims Prince Andrew is protecting Ghislaine Maxwell, stonewalling prosecutors' investigation over blackmail fears. Wow. Okay, that's pretty explosive. Stephen Hoffenberg was arrested by FBI agents in Arkansas in 1996 after regulators accused him of defrauding investors. The former business partner of Jeffrey Epstein and Towers Financial spent 18 years in jail for the largest Ponzi scheme in history prior to Bernie Madoff's crimes. But the notorious sex criminal got away scot-free? Why? In a series of new and exclusive conversations, Hoffenberg reveals the real reason he evaded justice is in one of America's largest Ponzi schemes. He was an international spy. Well, okay then. Merry Christmas to the audience out there, huh? How many more times do we have to have our evidence corroborated before somebody else stands up and says, Jesus, what's going on here, folks? What the hell is going on here? Nice to see Dylan Howard and the authors of Dead Men Tell No Tales stepping up to the plate, and it's getting some traction too, right? They're getting a lot of press, as well they should. As well they should. They had the courage to come out and say it on record. The media outlets don't have the courage to do that. Britain's Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein's alleged pimp, Ghislaine Maxwell, have joined forces to stonewall investigators and prevent Epstein's victims from obtaining justice. That's the explosive claim of former Epstein colleague and friend Stephen Hoffenberg, who confirms that Epstein was indeed a top-level agent for the Israeli Mossad, as first confirmed in the best-selling book Epstein, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Well, it was confirmed by Whitney Webb as well. She had the scoop with her article. But before that, it was also I forget his name right now. I believe Liv something or other was really the first person to break the story, and we covered that article. In a series of bombshell interviews with me following the release of the book, Hoffenberg confirmed that not only does he have firsthand knowledge of Epstein's work as an agent of the Mossad, as described in the book, but also his former cohorts, Prince Andrew and Maxwell, are still actively working to keep his explosive secrets. We've seen that. We've seen the proof for that. We've seen that they were huddled together in Buckingham Palace. We've seen the emails from Prince Andrew to Ghislaine Maxwell about Virginia Roberts. Again, we have the evidence. It's all built right here for us. Hoffenberg famously worked as Epstein's business partner at the ill-fated Towers Financial Group in the 90s. In 1993, the business collapsed as multi-billion-dollar Ponzi scheme was exposed. Hoffenberg pleaded guilty and went to prison in 1995, but Epstein got off scot-free. So how many times is it a coincidence, folks? How many times does a guy have to get off and it's a coincidence before you say, all right, there's some there. All right, Bobby isn't crazy. All right, the audience of the Jeffrey Epstein show isn't crazy. Because look, how much more evidence do you need? It's all right here. According to Hoffenberg, it was his espionage connections that helped him skate. During his work with Epstein, Hoffenberg says he had a front row seat to the espionage work that brought Epstein into close contact with foreign agents from Saudi Arabia, Israel, Russia, and more. Okay, so we know that he had the Saudi Arabian address on the passport. We know that he had close ties to Israel. And we know that he also was in Russia. All right, so again, corroborated. Hoffenberg revealed, I like the book Epstein Dead Men Tell No Tales a lot. Unfortunately, the media doesn't understand 75% of the Epstein story. I'm glad we understand pretty much the whole thing, right? As much as we possibly can at this point. Certainly more than the media. Because it's a complicated story. Maxwell, the Crown, and spying. Of course, right now, Prince Andrew is preventing the Southern District of New York from arresting Maxwell. Wow, that's explosive stuff there, folks. That is a big-time claim from Mr. Hoffenberg. A big-time claim. There is a problem because Alex Acosta in 2008, the reason that Epstein didn't get any time and got a non-prosecution agreement was because of the intelligence agency's involvement with Epstein and the two Maxwells in Israel. I know that for a fact from Epstein. And we know that for a fact as well. Epstein ran with the mega group. We all know about Wexner. We all know about Ronald Lauder. We've covered all of this, and we've laid the groundwork. Right, the groundwork has been laid. We've laid it, and now here we are. The path is starting to unfold in front of our eyes. Right, so we know from our investigation, from the evidence that we have seen, that he's definitely being run by an intelligence agency. Now you have multiple people coming out and confirming that he was a Mossad agent, basically being run by Maxwell's dad. Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell, was the one who probably was the point man on this whole entire thing, got the whole thing locked in, right? What you write in Epstein, Dead Men Tell No Tales is true. Matter of fact, I have been asked by many others about the spying, and I would never comment on the spying. I didn't want to get ahead of this, but you have now created the platform. Your story, it's true. It is the truth. There's no question. What you write is true. I am an eyewitness. There you go, folks. Another eyewitness. All right? Another eyewitness that's corroborating the fact that these dudes they were intelligence. This was a blackmail operation through and through. All right? He admitted this to me. That was not a core problem because he shared with me thousands of conversations. Everything about his life. I mean, I was like his brother. We were inseparable for so long. So I know every step that you write. You see the espionage connections were too hot, and that concerned me for risk up until your book. I've been pressed on espionage, and I wouldn't give it up. I didn't confirm the espionage until your book came out. It's a very serious master plan to the whole Epstein mystery. That was the master plan by Epstein. We've been on it since the jump, folks. Right since the beginning. Right since the beginning, we have hit the ball out of the park on this podcast at the very forefront. At the very forefront of this angle of the story. And anyone who doesn't understand what's going on, anybody who doesn't understand how these operations work, well, they're not going to see the big picture. They're just going to see, oh, another depraved sick bastard, another Me Too guy. All right, let's move on. But there's so much more, and the media just does not either A, doesn't want to cover it, or B, they're scared. He's got Andrew pinned to the wall right now. He's got the Crown stuck. Why the Crown is now taking this position? Maxwell has been described as a co-conspirator. She denied any claims of wrongdoing, though. Why doesn't the Crown in the UK seek justice? That'd bust the bubble in the UK. There's 75% of Epstein's story that is not understood by the media and the public. But we've got to bring it out there. We've got to tell them. He was needed by the CIA or the FBI for intelligence because he was manipulating the American intelligence for the overseas organizations. MI6, the Israelis, and the Saudis. Wow. That's the first I've heard of the MI6 angle. Obviously, I've never run that angle before, but I knew he was waist deep with the Saudis, and I brought it up yesterday about bin Talal. That's my wheelhouse, folks. That's my bread and butter. The Middle East is my bread and butter. All right? That is where I cut my teeth. I know how the House of Saud works, all right? And bin Talal definitely is hip deep with Jeffrey Epstein somewhere, some way. Can I prove that? No, not yet, but I'm working on it. They were afraid of the exposure that he brought to the table for what he did with Prince Andrew, MI6, the Israelis, and the Saudis. That's why Acosta said to the media, this is an intelligence criminal case. This is not a standalone criminal case. Acosta said that. Don't forget, he and I interacted from 87 through 96, or around that time frame. So we were inseparable as being together and talking every day. Working together every day. I set up that office at Villard House at that time, which was his office that we opened up specifically for him. We were always together, and he trusted me totally. I didn't know he was setting me up at the time, which he was, to take the entire fall for the crimes. I was not supposed to take the fall. I was supposed to get a slap on the wrist, but he's the one that caused me to not get a slap on the wrist because he double-crossed me with the money. I don't actually have an axe to grind for something that happened decades ago, but I was there, and that's what happened, and I have the evidence of that, of how he framed me. This is all true. I mean, I'm not using this as a story for that, because this is the only one little component that I got set up. I got set up in the first round of big money crimes with Epstein. The story is remarkable. Nobody's going to say that I have no axe to grind because I'm not a participant in all of these cover-ups. I'm in one heavily. So you know that's not an axe to grind at all. That's a story to tell. That's all it is. It's something to explain. His mindset, the profile, how Epstein saw things, and how he played the chessboard. That is all it is. Wow. Explosive stuff, folks. Explosive stuff for you on Christmas Eve. What this does is it shows us we are certainly on the right path here on the podcast, and all of the emails I receive from you, fantastic folks out there, you're on the same path as well. I haven't had one person comment that they don't think that the intelligence angle is legit. Not one single person who follows this case ardently like we do thinks that it's anything else besides a blackmail ring. Look, this sort of thing was old when Babylon was young. All right, folks? This sort of operation. So, Dylan Howard and the folks that wrote the book Dead Men Tell No Tales, hats off to you for having the courage to step up to the plate and put your name out there, really for intelligence to see. You know, content creators like me, we have a little small piece of the market. You know, I'm not some huge operation, not by any means. But what we are is very informed. And when you're informed, you're dangerous to these people. And that's the plan, right? To be as dangerous to these sons of bitches as they think they are to us. Because the tides are turning, folks. We're flipping the table, the chessboard. That's getting dumped over in 2020. We're turning the predator into the prey. All right. If you'd like to contact me, you can do that at Bobbycapucci at protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. And if you would like to support the podcast and help us create more content and travel to these locations to get the first-hand story, go ahead and click on that GoFundMe link and do what you got to do there. Also, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. All right. I'll be back, obviously, for the morning update tomorrow. But tonight, when you guys are downloading this, if you're listening to it after everybody's went to bed, or hopefully you're sharing it with your family and your friends who haven't heard it before, you know, helping your boy out, getting the word out. But make sure that you take a look around and you understand that sometimes it's important to be present, right? Don't take anything for granted. Don't take any of these gatherings with your family for granted. Don't take good health for granted. I learned firsthand that every day is important with the people that you love. So please do not drink and drive tonight. Do not party too hard and drive. Call yourself an Uber, sleep in your car, whatever it might be. But do not get behind that wheel of a car if you've been partying. Because guess what? I want you all around for the victory celebration when we spike the football on these sons of bitches. All right, folks. I will talk to everybody in the morning. And again, Merry Christmas. Have a good night.